Are you rolling?
Okay, I'm rolling.
Killer. Welcome back to Crossing the Bridge. It's a month or two later.
Woo! We're on a quick little lunch break.
Yeah, the holidays were rough.
Yeah.
So today we have Kaylin Hasselman in the studio.
Today we
She's
have Kaylin
observing.
Hasselman.
I just sit back and observe. She's back there. Eli's here also. What's up, Eli? Do you have a mic this episode?
Yeah. All right.
All right. Anyways, guys, today is actually really sad. I cried this morning. Today's Jackson's going away party. It actually starts in, what time is it?
It starts in 30 minutes.
It starts in 30 minutes. So this is a quick kind of like goodbye episode.
Shut up.
His watch went off. He did not tell me to shut up because there would be a problem. But yeah, you're leaving, dude.
Yeah.
You leave on
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
And I'll be at the boot camp on Wednesday.
Yeah, tell them what's going on. You're going to the Navy.
So I'm going to the Navy.
Uh-huh.
My training's in Chicago, Illinois, during the winter, which is going to be hard because it is called the Wind City for a reason. And it's also really cold up there. They just had a snowstorm. So, yeah, I do that. Then after I graduate boot camp, I'm going to San Antonio, Texas to do my A school, which is like policing stuff. And then after that, I'll go to my first duty station, which is going to be, I don't know where it's going to be.
But most importantly, you got to go to...
I got to go to Passion.
Yeah! Guys,
Because
Passion was this past week, and it was freaking amazing.
Loved it.
I'm so glad you got to go, because it was so fun.
I'm glad I got to go too.
Yeah, no, we definitely thought you were going to leave beforehand, but
I did
I'm
too.
very glad you did it.
I did too.
Eli, you also went to Passion. What were your thoughts on Passion? We'll start with you.
I slept.
He did sleep.
He did sleep.
That's all he got.
Yep.
Yeah, he fell asleep quite a few times. Eric fell asleep. Anaya fell asleep.
I almost fell asleep, but I didn't.
I did not. I also could not sleep on the bus. I don't know what it was.
I
think
either.
Eric fell asleep during Louis Giglio, and Anaya fell asleep during Christine Kane. Which, it's okay, guys. It was a long 3 days.
Christine Kane was better than Louis Giglio.
I love Louis Giglio, but yeah, I think
He's
it was just a little all over the place. I wasn't like
very. I was confused most of it.
Yeah, I didn't get much out of that one, but I mean, it was still good. I'm sure people got a message out of it. Christian Kane was really good. I think Earl was my favorite.
Earl was my favorite also.
But yeah, so those are the people that slept. But yeah, how was your Passion experience? Like,
It was. I think it was better than last year when I went.
really? But did you went to the regular Passion, not the camp?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Passion conference. But I think it was better because after the Passion conference last year, I wasn't really like in touch with all of it because I was like, I'm just going to Atlanta for fun.
Yeah.
Doing some worship, no big deal. But then before I went on this most previous Passion, I got baptized and stuff. And then when I went into Passion, I thought, this is great. I love this.
Yeah.
Worship music was so good.
Gosh, it was amazing. All right, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so the last what was it, the Thursday Passion? The worship went until like midnight, and Brandon Lake was there, and he sang Gratitude, and the sound of like 60,000 people just all singing Gratitude and sing. It was amazing.
Dude, musically, that moment, the last morning when we sang Anya's Day for a solid 10 minutes over and over again, like, and
that was cool.
Passion, just like the band, like they just stopped like everything they were doing.
Everybody was crying on the band.
I was sobbing. Like it was so surreal. And I think Passion always has some of those experiences, but it's like it's very glimpses of into like what heaven is going to be like, you know? And I think that's so amazing to think about. So it was really good.
I've seen a lot of TikToks from different people from Passion.
Yeah.
And they said, imagine what worship would be like in heaven.
I reposted a picture from the guy that sang one of those songs on the Passion Band, and he viewed my story today. Isn't that kind of fun?
That's kind of fun.
Elena was Elena liked that. So who was your favorite message this year?
Earl.
That was my favorite.
It's either Earl or Sadie Robertson.
Sadie. So Sadie delivered the gospel in basically 15 minutes, and it was
Yeah, she
very
did.
impressive.
She went through the Bible in 15 minutes.
It was kind of crazy. I liked it a lot, but Earl was definitely my favorite.
Earl put some humor into it. It was
He
funny.
put humor into it, but he's also just like the way he gets fired up when he starts talking. Like I love that.
I like it when people preach, they start like yelling.
Yeah.
That's
I also liked
powerful.
what Christine Kane was talking about, like the new thing, like a new thing God's doing.
The wine bags.
I like that, the new thing, because it's also like we're starting, or it's the beginning of the year. Like it's just a new chapter in your life, a new chapter in my life. Like obviously, it less affects you, but like people are gonna be affected by the fact that you're leaving. Like everyone's got new stuff going on, so it's kind of, interesting to think about. Speaking of New Year, I mean, obviously you're going to the Navy, so you have that to worry about. But did you have any New Year's resolutions?
I didn't. I just want to come home.
Yeah. Makes me so sad. What about you, Eli? I want to cry.
All right, so on a serious note, New Year's resolutions for me is probably working more on the cinema projects, like actual film projects, instead of like just YouTube and stuff like that, so that I can get my portfolio a little bit on the higher end instead of just a bunch of old school projects. So working more with cinematography and video editing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just to make my skills better, as well as learning a new instrument. I'm wanting to learn.
All right.
I'm really wanting to learn like a saxophone.
Okay.
Saxophone.
What about trumpet? I could teach you trumpet. And I have a trumpet.
I'm thinking saxophone because the saxophone is what they use
It-
in jazz.
it is-
in most jazz music.
Trumpet is jazz music.
I mean,
they're pretty equal.
saxophone
but
would sound better.
Saxophone is way cooler. I just wasn't a woodwind when I was in band, so I don't.
I guess
remember.
you could say you're being a sexy man.
Okay. Anyways, that's a good. That's
We're
a
not
good
gonna
New Year's to have.
include that part.
Okay, that one I can help you with the thing. For me, I said my number one thing was knocking off 3 items on my bucket list this year, and there's a bunch on that list that I won't name, but I think the ones I'm aiming for are a bioluminescence at a beach. Kaylin's gonna go with me for sure.
You gotta go a certain type of season, like
Yeah, no,
think it's
I'm
like-
gonna figure it out.
spring, I think.
Trip to Montana. My dad actually, I told him about that, and he was like, "Yeah, let's go to Montana." So that would be really cool. Or Utah for the Bonneville Salt Flats. Utah. And then my final one that I'm gonna try to hit this year is to make an album,
I want to go skydiving.
like a worship album.
I want to go skydiving.
No, I would
I
never.
bet I can do that for free if I know the right people in the Navy.
Maybe, who knows? I think instead of a top 5 anything, I think we should do the top 3 favorite Jackson moments. Eli, me and you. What's one of your favorite Jackson moments? I didn't really think about this, so this is just coming to mind, but
I think my first number 3 spot is going to be learning that Jackson has never shot a gun before. Because
they're going to do that Monday.
Alright.
But I'm surprised that the man that has done more airsoft with me and has shown me how to do airsoft more than any other person has never shot a real gun.
All right, that's fair.
Airsoft is as close as I can get.
I think my number 3 is just going to be Jackson hating on Taylor Swift and Elena getting pissed at him. It's just kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah.
We're not going to say any more on that, Jackson,
I
because
just
we're
think
not.
it's funny. Just
Stop. We're not. But I just wanted to include that because it's just interesting to watch. What's your number 2? I gotta think too.
My number 2 is probably the times that we would play games together, like Halo, and we would harass
Aw.
Levi on Halo.
That's so
Minecraft and
sweet.
stuff.
Yeah.
Not the harassing, but the game.
Harassing is the fun part,
My number 2 is gonna be when you got a girlfriend. Because who would have thought? Not me.
Hey.
Not me. She's great. We're gonna be best friends when you leave.
Who would have thought? Not me. Why?
I don't know. Just crazy thing about.
Okay.
Oh,
Continue.
Also, honorable mention was finding out that me and Jackson are around the same age. I really thought you were like 4 years younger than me when we first met.
I'm not even that. You're not even that much older than I am.
I know. It's just like I hung out with your sister, and you were just like another Maddox, and Maddox is 4 years younger than me, and I was like, "Wow, me and Jackson are the same age." It's kind of.
It's because I look young.
Jackson's getting kind of flamed right now.
No, It's not a bad thing. You look young. You'll look younger when you're older. What's your number one, Eli?
My number one is it's a bit more personal, but it's whenever we were in a car a few years ago and we were just chatting, like having an actual personal chat about feelings and stuff in life.
That's so sweet. Guys, this is so sad. I was gonna go funny and say number one was like when you guys played Five Nights at Freddy's and I just got to watch y'all get scared crapless. Yep. It was hilarious. But I will say, getting to know you this year has been great, Jackson. You're a good friend. You're like another brother to me, and I appreciate it. Aww. And I'm glad that we got to do the podcast. And I'm sad that we didn't become friends like this until this year. But you know what? That's okay. It'll be fine. But yeah, those are good. Jackson, what's your favorite Jackson moment out of your whole life?
Out of my whole life? Wow. I gotta think. Hold on.
Or what's your favorite Eli and McKinley moment? We can make it about us too.
Well, my favorite.
I'm just
my favorite me and Eli moment is back when he lived at his old house. Hold on, I gotta think.
Just Eli, not me.
Back when Eli lived at his old house on that land, after a storm, there's a big mud area, and we started having mud fights. And whenever we'd who's calling? Is that me?
No, it's just Judah.
Oh, why is he calling me?
Keep going.
Hit the volume button.
Hit the volume? You mean the X? It's on Snapchat.
Yes, hit the
Just
X.
hurry. Ew, who calls on Maddox does that actually? Why am I
Anyway,
saying that?
whenever you had that big mud area on that plot of land, and we had mud fight, and then whenever I'd go over to your house, you rode dirt bikes all the time.
Oh.
And then my favorite McKinley moment.
Don't even. That's messed up. Whatever.
I can't think of anything.
I hope you go to Navy. Good night. You're so mean.
I can't think of anything.
It's fine. Whatever.
You asked me.
It's okay. I think we should end the party. It kind of has to be quick because Jackson has this going away party in literally like 2 minutes.
Yep.
So yeah, let me quick. So do you remember? I forgot his name. Was it Levi Lusko?
Yeah.
That shared. He shared a little bit, and he said something that I thought was really pretty. It was like a clip of his message. His message was basically his daughter died, and there was a lot of pain he went through, and he came through with the open mind about how God can give and God can take away. And he said something, and I'm not gonna say I wasn't paying attention, but I wasn't as into paying. It was like near the end of the day. I was really tired. And I was almost in the falling asleep stage. But he said something, naked I come, naked I go. And I was like, that's really pretty. Like, what is that from? Apparently it's from Job. So I'm going to read that. So basically Job is like, he had everything God could ever give him. And like he had 7 sons, 3 daughters. He owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, all the good stuff, whatever. And Satan came and said, where have you come from? Or God said to Satan, where have you come from? And Satan answered the Lord, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. And God said, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He's blameless, upright, and a man who fears God and shuns evil. And Satan replied, saying, does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds, blah, blah, blah. Basically saying that God's really given him everything. So what reason is it for him to not be grateful, or not to be praising God because he's been given everything good? And God was like, okay, everything he has is in your power, but in the man himself do not lay a finger on. So Satan takes it all away. And Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head, and then he fell to the ground and worshiped and said, and this is the part, it says, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. And yeah, I just thought that was my favorite like little excerpt from. I was reading through Job, and basically the rest of Job is him having talks with his friends who later come to him, and it's like saying, well, you must have done something to make this deserve. And it's just over time he struggles with a great depression. He goes through all these things, which I think is symbolic, because I think everyone, especially our age, like we're going through a lot, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming and just too much. Like I'm sure in the Navy you're going to experience times where you're missing people, like you're going to feel just utter, like, not wishing this upon you, but you're going to feel like utter like loneliness at some point.
No, I will.
Yeah, and like there's gonna be hardships, but to praise God even through those times it's just an amazing thing. So I really liked that excerpt from him.
Eric?
So yeah, Eric Hasselman has
hey,
entered the
Eric.
building. Perfect. We were about to end the podcast. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Jackson, you will be
Stretched.
missed.
Yeah.
We're gonna see what happens with the podcast, guys. So any last words before you sign out for good, bud?
Just know whoever takes my spot is not going to be as good as me.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
Just saying.
All right. Well, that's it. Peace out, Jackson Rowland.
Signing out.
You gotta do your bye. Do your bye.
That's that one.